the dead of now almost summer, and this is just where we're at in the NFL with content. But I got a trivia question for you that I saw going around online a week or two ago, and it stumped me. So I'm going to see if I can. It'll stump you, and
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
our
love
our
me some
football
trivia.
our football listeners will like this, Dan. Since the year 2000, so our football lifetime of like we watched the NFL 2000 on, 3 colleges have had 2 QBs start a Super Bowl game. 3 colleges have had 2 QBs start a Super Bowl game. Can you name the 3 colleges?
And since what year? I'm sorry.
2000 on.
Since 2000, 3 colleges have had multiple quarterbacks
2 QBs start in Super Bowls.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Cal.
Cal is correct. You know the QBs.
That would be Jared Goff and Aaron Rodgers.
Ding, ding, ding. That was, to me, that was the easy one. Like, all right. And your thought was like, is it Michigan? It's like, no, it's just Tom Brady.
Right. Yeah. Has Georgia had a quarterback?
I'll give you if you want some sort of direction, neither of these are like giant schools. One of them is a solid school. Like, that's a solid school. The other one, you're like, oh shit, that's weird.
Interesting. Okay. One you wouldn't think, but is a solid school.
Solid school. Power 5 conference as of before all the crazy, movement. I think I technically would still consider.
And these were starting. You said starting quarterbacks. They
started in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's not Wyoming.
It's not Wyoming.
It's not Texas Tech.
It's not Texas Tech.
And we know it's not Michigan. It's not going to be Georgia.
It's not Georgia. SEC schools are weird. Like, they don't produce a ton of like elite, quarterbacks all the time.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Joe Flacco went to freaking Delaware. So I don't think it's going to be Joe Flacco and Delaware. I'm just trying to like think through the quarterbacks right now. It's not Miami of Ohio. We know that.
Yeah.
Process of elimination here.
I gotta
Tennessee. Would it be Tennessee?
It is not Tennessee. That's just got Peyton Manning. I got to stop you here and say Delaware is one of them.
Really?
So who is the other Delaware from 2000 on?
Okay, what?
This is why let me give you a hint. The year 2000 makes it why they picked 2000.
Trent Dilfer, did he go to Delaware?
No. You're real
Kerry
close.
Collins?
You're in that world. It's not Kerry Collins.
So that wasn't 2000 then.
It was close to 2000.
Okay. Brad Johnson?
No, it's the Super Bowl though.
Rich Gannon.
He's a Delaware guy.
Okay.
Gannon. So you have
I had
Cal,
no
Goff,
idea
and
Rich
Rodgers.
Gannon went to Delaware.
I know.
That's fascinating. Okay.
I know. Wow. Goff and Rodgers, Cal. Delaware is Flacco and Rich Gannon. The third one
there's a Power 5.
East Coast school.
Syracuse?
Both of their quarterbacks, it's the same name. Like first name.
Oh, okay.
Neither of them won their Super Bowl either. Both losers.
So Steve?
No.
Is the name Steve? Okay.
No, Steve.
I was just thinking McNair, but I was like, maybe there's another Steve that
there's another
lost
Steve.
the Super Bowl.
Not Rex Grossman. It's not Florida.
Is this post 2010? Can you tell me that?
One was pre 2010 in a Super Bowl that mattered to you, and the other one was post.
Okay. So Matt Hasselbeck.
Well,
I have no idea where Matt Hasselbeck went to college, and I should know this actually. Is it? Wait. Is it Fresno State?
No. You're thinking the right color though. You're kind of like
West Coast. What am I talking about?
You're imagining it. It's a fun one, isn't it? It's weird.
It is. This is a very interesting.
Someone's yelling at the screen right now.
Can you tell me the conference? I don't need.
It was the conference of the school.
ACC.
Yeah, ACC. East Coast.
School. North Carolina.
Nope.
No. Okay. Drake and Matt Hasselbeck do not share the same name.
Where did Matt Hasselbeck go to school?
Stafford.
Who else was a Matt who lost a Super
Hasselbeck,
Bowl since
Matt
2000 in very
Matt
crushing
Ryan. Matt
Matt
Ryan.
Ryan,
Boston
College.
College.
There you go.
Dang. Yep.
Cal,
Yeah, I did
Delaware,
not know Matt
Boston
Hasselbeck, man.
College are quarterback universities since 2000.
That's interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it too, there's really not a college, a university that's been like, oh, they just pump out quarterbacks. Like it's,
Well, like, I
you
mean, you
know,
could argue like so,
in
like
eras they have.
Oklahoma had the run, right? Because you have like
Sure.
technically Caleb went there, technically
Kyler and Baker.
Kyler Baker, and then also Jalen Hurts. Like they all had their Oklahoma stint.
Yeah.
And then you could argue Alabama, you know, with like the Mac Jones to Jalen
But that was
Hurts.
all within, we're talking all within like a 5 to 6 year range. There hasn't really been a college that's like throughout their time they have just pumped out, or
NFL
even throughout an entire multiple decades, so that is interesting. It's also interesting that Alabama, for as good as they've been, really have few to none that you can kind of hang their hat on and say, wow, that they had great NFL careers. Like Jalen Hurts is really the only one that you can think of in recent memory.
And remember, he was benched for Tua, and then he won his Heisman and exploded at Oklahoma.
Yep.
USC has had good quarterbacks, like
you think sure have, but better
about that.
Better prospect quarterbacks.
Prospects, yes, it's a good point. It's a really good
because I mean, you had Todd Marinovich and you had
like even
Sanchez
like
and
Matt
Leinart.
Barkley and Sanchez and Matt Leinart and Carson Palmer and then Caleb. I mean,
Carson Palmer's the best, the best of the bunch, and Caleb will be.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of productivity at the NFL level, I'm sure we're missing someone. But in terms of like 2000 on, I would say Carson Palmer.
In recent memory, there isn't one school you say that's the quarterback school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's a fun one. All right, I just thought. Listen, this is where we're at in the football season. But we got the schedule. We got the schedule.
Yeah. Talking schedule release here on the show. A couple games that really pop out to us. International games. We've got a lot of that on the table, plus a couple bits of news and notes. We'll get to that right after this. All right, before we get into the schedule, Rashee Rice is going to jail for violating his probation.
That was crazy. That broke like 2-3 hours ago, that news.
Yes. Yeah. The saga continues with issues. This was for violating his probation because he failed a drug test that obviously you have to take as part of your probationary check-ins. And so he failed this one. And this is all stemming, of course, from the high-speed crash that has now been following him for a couple years at this point. And, more issues for the Kansas City Chiefs who, if this was a situation on the Dallas Cowboys or the Eagles or the Rams, they'd be able to cut bait with a guy like Rashee Rice. I think the only reason that the Chiefs haven't is because he's by far their most productive wide receiver. And, that's just how it goes in the NFL. The more you mean to a team, the longer your leash is. But
I thought you were going to take that in a little bit of a different avenue, because I thought you were going to say if it was on Dallas or if it was on the Rams, like it would feel like it'd be a way bigger deal, and you'd argue like culture and things like that.
Yeah,
but Kansas City, it feels like it gets a little bit of a pass, and it's just like, oh, Andy Reid they'll be fine, and they have Andy and Patrick and the culture at Kansas City. But I'll just say this: to me, I think you have to. It has to be on the table that he could have another NFL suspension from this, right? Like, if I'm the NFL league office, I'd look at this as you violating that probation is also a scoff at us, because now it's in the news, and it's anytime a player has to serve jail time, he's going to have to serve jail time. Like, you'd imagine there has to be some sort of repercussions for that on the field. So we'll wait and see with that. It feels like a never-ending saga with Rashee Rice. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, not good to be in the news continuously like this, but he is there. I mean, obviously Xavier Worthy has taken significant steps to being a really solid
Yeah.
player, but a little inconsistent. And Rashee Rice certainly changed things for them when he came back last year.
Yeah.
Didn't result in wins, but nonetheless. Aaron Rodgers is finally a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Finally.
I am kind of surprised at the amount, and I don't know, maybe it's just me being a
25.
Steelers fan. I'm so surprised at the amount of coverage that this has garnered. Like, it shouldn't be. It's this like, why is this? It's not a surprise at all. I know that it's news. You still got to cover it like it happened, but like we all knew this was almost certainly going to happen. The only thing was, okay, maybe he decides to retire at the 11th hour, but like those are the options. He was never going to go play for another team. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was just like, okay, it finally happened, and here we go. But a lot of people are talking about it, so I guess it's.
I think Aaron's a lightning rod, right? Like that's just part of it. Like, and then you add in the fact that the Steelers are without a doubt one of the 5 biggest football brands, right? We talk about the fan base, like the way they travel, the way Steelers Nation is. They are a ginormous fan base that you can run that story in California and in Florida and it's going to get coverage because it's Aaron and Pittsburgh.
Definitely.
Like, so it doesn't shock me that it's as big of a deal. I think what will be interesting is like we said, is then when we get closer to starting to preview the season, of just like, will Aaron actually come out and say like a definitive, hey, no matter what happens, this is it? Or is he going to do this whole thing all year long again, where it's this kind of amorphous, I don't know, because I feel like we could start to really celebrate Aaron in the way he deserves to be celebrated, is a top 10 quarterback of all time. I think to me, he's closer to 10. Some people would argue he's closer to 1. But you could start to celebrate him and give him his flowers and go off on
the farewell tour,
like a positive ride into the sunset. And that way, when he has the kind of maybe the bad game where the Steelers maybe just make the playoffs as like a wild card or something, we can be like, hey, listen, just appreciate this is Aaron Rodgers. Kind of last time you're going to get to see him. I hope he takes that stance, but you never know. That, to me, that's the next like storyline of it as far as the Aaron storyline goes. As far as like breaking down the Steelers and the schedule and the games, we'll talk about that coming up here. I like the Steelers' chances this year. I think signing Aaron Rodgers immediately caps you, but I think it also immediately gives you a really nice floor from what performance last year and another year healthy. I fully expect the Steelers to be very, very competitive in the NFC North to win that division.
I've seen a lot of people in, some of the big shows that are around, the talk shows, talking about how like the Steelers are, just routinely becoming laughable at this point in relation to this decision to sign Aaron Rodgers. And I do get like a little defensive about that particular take, mainly because, and that I've been somebody that's been clamoring for them to stop trying to live in mediocrity. And this is a decision that largely does that. I agree 100% with those people that if it were up to me, my optimal choice as a fan would be to have Will Howard and Drew Aller go through growing pains as a professional quarterback and either have blow up bad season or have a season where you can at least learn something and maybe feel confident that you can do something with one of these guys moving forward. Either way, you're in a good position next year to either take a quarterback high or feel confident that you have your guy for the future. But if they're not going that route, which we all know that that's just not what they were doing, Aaron Rodgers was the choice here. I would agree with these talking heads more if the choice was Jacoby Brissett. If they were like, okay, Aaron Rodgers is not an option, but we have to find a veteran guy. We have to find a guy that can pull us up to that 500 mark or whatever, that to me would be the much more desperate move than they're making it seem that this Aaron Rodgers move is, because in my opinion, it's not that desperate. I mean, he played well for them last year. So it's not like everything blew up and it was, you know, wow, that you just barely scraped by. Aaron played well. There were a lot of other issues for the reasons that Pittsburgh didn't perform, mainly because they were without any receiver for 2 games and didn't have a wide receiver 2 for the whole season. But yeah, just your thoughts on that.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think it's something to be criticized as like in the way you said. Like, yeah, if
Yeah,
it was
like what a
Jacoby
joke
Brissett.
of a move. Yeah.
My criticism is that it is the overall same criticism you've had for forever, which is that if you're going to be afraid to ever have a bad season where you win 3 or 4 games and you reset, then I'm going to keep criticizing you unless you show me what the true long-term plan at quarterback is. Because the last time you drafted a quarterback, you were drafting at like 15 and you ended up with Kenny Pickett and it didn't work out. I at least give you credit for drafting, right? Like you went and you're like, hey, we're going to draft a guy. As I said on this show many times before, as a Bears fan, like sometimes the best option is you just keep drafting guys until one of them finally hits. You just got to keep drafting.
Yeah.
You know, the Bears did 3 quarterbacks in 7 years of drafting quarterbacks. Just keep drafting. You'll figure it. You'll eventually hit. It looks like the Bears finally have. And so the criticism I would give is the constant for Pittsburgh is just more like, what is the final end game here? Especially because if there was going to be a year, it feels like to maybe be picking in the top 6 or 7 to have one of the 2 or 3, seems to maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks coming out next year with some high ceilings. And again, we said that at this time last year. You never know how it's going to change. It just feels like Pittsburgh is probably going to be picking as a team that makes the wild card or something like that in, again, the late teens, early 20s. So they're going to be, as long as they're comfortable saying to their fans, if they're going into the draft next year to get a quarterback, we're going to either be really aggressive and have to give up multiple picks to move up, or maybe, just maybe, they're going to keep playing this market of being like, we're going to be the destination for whichever quarterback needs a change of scenery. There will be a quarterback that needs a change of scenery next year. We saw it with Kyler Murray. Like, there's going to be that quarterback. So, but I don't love that plan. I love the plan of going to get the guy. So that's the only criticism I'd levy towards Pittsburgh. But again, we just don't know how all that's going to shake out. And maybe just maybe it ends up being a struggle year anyways, and you end up picking at the top 10 just because you pick Aaron Rodgers. What if he's old? What if he does?
Right,
pull
that's
a
true. I mean, it could blow up. He could
Yeah.
get hurt, and then you're in the situation that I was talking about to begin
Yeah.
with. You know, so that's definitely in play. All right, the NFL schedule was released. Obviously, this always draws a lot of buzz this time of year. Did anything stick out to you in terms of how this shook out? The international games, holiday games, week 1, like anything really pop out?
Well, we've said it on this show before, and I stand by it. I am not a fan of the amount of international games. I'm just not. I think 1 or 2 a year is really fun and special. And I think 1 or 2 a year when it's like, hey, we're going to Dublin. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's fun. Hey, we're going to Paris. Like, that's crazy. That's fun. Hey, we're going to Munich. One of those a year plus a London game was fine for me, right? Like, that was a good. I like my Sunday to have as many games as possible in that slate of noon and 3 here in the Central Time, to where I have a bunch of different options. Because when you space out so many of these games and you're playing on Thursday and Friday and an early Sunday game and a Monday, I love they eliminated the Monday doubleheader. I think that's great. But there's sometimes those windows in the afternoon, you get the 3 o'clock start, and it's like you have 2 games and one of them is crap and the other one is maybe fine, or just teams that aren't that competitive, and you're just like,
and then you got no options.
It's just not a great slate. And then it just feels like you're waiting for Sunday night.
Well, and people are talking about that 1 o'clock window or noon window for you in the Central Time. It's whittling away slowly but surely to where the NFL may end up having, a noon/1 o'clock slate of like 5 games,
Oh, I know.
and where everything's just going to be afternoon or special days or like 2 Thursday games now, Saturday. It is kind of crazy. I mean, the 1 o'clock window used to be jam packed.
It was. And
they've said, I think 3 years in a row now, the number of 1 o'clock games has decreased. So it's a trend.
And now I'm going to give Barstool Big Cat credit for this because I consume his content. So I don't know if he's the only one saying this, but I know he's saying it and he's got a giant platform. And I'm going to echo it again because I just agree 100% with it. When I was in my teens and in my early 20s, I couldn't care less. But now, as a person who's married with stepkids and a real big boy job and all this other stuff, you eventually push the limit. How far can you push me here? How far can you push me to where it's like you want me to tell my wife I'm watching Thursday night and the Friday special game, plus then when you get into the college football season ends, you have Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Like you're pushing it. You're just pushing it. And I get it. They look at it, go, well, as long as we put big enough markets on those Saturday games, we don't need all of your eyeballs. We'll get enough eyeballs to where it's still going to be the most watched thing and it's going to make us a ton of money and everyone's going to be happy. But eventually it's harder for me to sit there and go, hey man, football is the only sport in my world that I will just watch any game because I don't need to know the team. I'm not going to, if Sunday Night Baseball is on and it's Tampa Bay and Boston, there's probably a less than 5% chance I'm actually watching that game. That goes up to about a 35-40% chance I'm watching the game. If it's my team, if it's the Cubs, then it goes up, right? Like, okay, I'll try to watch it. If the wife doesn't want to watch a movie and there's nothing that's going on, I'll throw the Cubs on. Same with the NBA. Now, the NBA, I'm a little bit of a bigger fan of, so that those margins are up. I might watch Memphis versus New Orleans on a Sunday night if nothing's going on. That's probably like a 15% chance I'll watch some of that game versus the less than 5%
chance for me.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, but again, you're pushing it. Now, if it's the NFL, I will watch if I can.
Yeah.
But you are really, really, really pushing it with like extending these windows. But I will say, the primetime games, Dan. Like you look at the. Obviously, I think they've done a good job in the last couple of years of making Thursday Night Football better since it's been on Prime and really like giving them good games. Sunday Night Football slate is always great. The Monday Night Football slate looks really solid. And then when you look at some of these standalone games, that Thanksgiving window and the Christmas window, holy crap!
Thanksgiving is
if they're healthy, if everyone's
the best Thanksgiving of football I can.
If it's healthy, I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Packers at Rams, Bears at Lions, Eagles at Cowboys, and Bills at Chiefs to cap it off. I mean, those are all awesome games. And
the Packers is that Wednesday night. And then the
Thanksgiving
Bears,
Eve, you're right.
Yes,
you're
right. And
yes,
then and then you could add in the Broncos and I think Chiefs on the Friday. Like the Black Friday game, like those 5 games in that Wednesday night.
Well, Chiefs play the Bills on Thanksgiving Day.
Who do the Broncos play on Friday?
I was only looking at the Thanksgiving Eve
because it's
day, so I got to find that
Eve through Black Friday. That is a good window. In less than 48 hours, that is 5 really good games. Now, I can sell my wife on watching the majority of those because it's the holidays and you're just hanging out and blah blah blah. And I think Bears-Lions should be a guarantee noon Thanksgiving kickoff. It should rotate Bears, Lions, or Lions, Packers, or Lions, Vikings.
It's Denver at Pittsburgh. It's Denver at Pittsburgh. I should have known that.
It's a really, really good slate. It's a really good slate. It is. I will say, as a Bears fan, I think it's bullshit the Bears play on Thanksgiving and Christmas. That is... my wife already looked at me like, I hate you. And I'm like, listen, Thanksgiving I can get away with, right? Like it's football, it's food. But on Christmas Day, I will have to look at them. And it's Bears Packers. So it's like, and her brother-in-law is a diehard Packers fan. Like she knows that will be watched. And it's like, great, on Christmas Day, we got to carve out 4 hours for Bears Packers. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And like, that sucks. Like, that is a tough one because it's like I'm already giving up family time on Thanksgiving because I'm watching the Bears, and now you're giving up family time on Christmas to watch the Bears. It's like, I think that's pretty BS of the NFL to put the Bears on both those games.
Both of the main holidays. Yeah, I would
yeah.
agree. But the NFL did do the Bears a big favor, and
The
I've
time
talked
off.
about this for a couple years now. Warren Sharp's rest advantage chart. The Chicago Bears lead the NFL in rest advantage this year with 15 extra days of it.
Well, they have the hardest
over their opponents.
Hardest strength of schedule. And so in doing so, the Bears, again, the strength of schedule, the Bears had the second hardest strength of schedule last year, and they won 11, 12 games and made it to the second round of the playoffs. So people who are like, the Bears are going to fall back, that was with rookie Ben Johnson and second-year Caleb. Now I get third-year Caleb, second-year Ben Johnson. Okay, they have the hardest strength of schedule, but also the NFL said, listen, we don't want the Bears to be a nothing product. They clearly want, the Bears have the second most primetime games, tied for the second most with 6, and they can still be flexed into a 7th. The Rams have the most with 7. I think the NFL was giving the Bears, there's nothing they could do about the schedule, right? Like, it's in advance who you're going to play. It just so happens those teams are really good, right? And you're a first place schedule. So if they're going to have the hardest strength of schedule, they did them a huge solid. The Bears never play basically on short rest against anyone and in some of those games, they have multiple rest advantages against teams coming off a short rest. I think on that Warren Sharp chart, if I'm not mistaken, it's the second best rest advantage ever since he's been doing this chart. And so it is a huge, huge thing. And I love that as a Bears fan. Ben Johnson with extra rest. I think it's going to help the Bears. One or two of those games that are really tough games that they may have lost are going to turn into wins because of that. And that's the difference between going 9 wins and 11 wins and winning that division. I really think that.
And I mean, if you all have something to be happy about in regards to that, then wait till you hear the Los Angeles Chargers rest disadvantage. The Bears lead the league with plus 15. The Chargers are minus 24. Minus 24 days of rest disadvantage. That is 9 days more than the second most disadvantaged team, which is the Philadelphia Eagles at minus 15. So the Chargers got royally screwed here in a year that they obviously means a lot to this organization, to Jim Harbaugh, to Justin Herbert, after the year of turmoil they just had. So look, if the Chargers are good this year, let's just say they will have certainly earned it.
I will say, though, I saved this tweet somewhere, so I'm trying to get back to it. There was something the Chargers. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was thinking about San Francisco, because I thought the Chargers not only had the worst rest advantage, but they have to travel the 7th most miles too.
Yeah.
So they're top 10 for miles traveled and their worst rest advantage. Listen, the San Francisco and LA teams, like the West Coast teams, are always going to have to travel a little bit more. But the fact that you add on that they have to go all the way to Australia, the miles traveled chart is insane for those two. So if you kind of eliminate that one trip, I think that helps. But the Bears also, Dan, with the rest advantage, they have the 3rd least miles traveled. Now, that's an NFC North thing. The NFC North is always very low travel because the Bears, Packers, Vikings, Lions is the tightest packed division, I believe, in the NFL as far as distance. And so they always have that advantage. But, Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago are all in the bottom 7 for miles traveled. Carolina's only traveling 8,000 miles.
That's wild
in this year. So that's a crazy one too. Can I bring up a team that I feel like the NFL, purposely did them dirty?
Yeah. Fire away.
Listen to this start for the Denver Broncos. The first 6 games. Now, again, they were the number 1 seed last year, so it's like you're going to play a number 1 schedule. But Dan, they start the season at the Chiefs, and then they host the Jaguars, so they don't even get like the Florida team when it's like cold in Denver. That's a playoff team last year, Jacksonville. So you get Patrick Mahomes' revenge game on Monday Night Football, like coming back healthy to start the season. Then you're hosting the Jags, a playoff team from last year. Don't worry. The next week you go Sunday Night Football against the Rams, who are the Super Bowl favorites. Then, all right, okay, there's got to be a break coming up. Nope, you are at the Broncos. You are at the Niners on America's game of the week for like Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, CBS. Then you're at the Chargers in that same CBS afternoon slot. Then you host the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football on short rest. Those are your first 6 games.
Yeah.
That is a insane start to a season.
It's a crazy start. Now, I will say they have a 6-game gap that is really nice for them, which begins at the beginning of November, really. After they play the Chiefs, they get Panthers, Raiders, Steelers, Dolphins, Jets, Raiders.
Yeah, so
like they should go 5-1 realistically, like in that.
They have to find window. A way to, it's a great point. It's exactly what I was going to say. If the Broncos can find a way to just go 500 through that 3-3 through the first 6 games. I'm a Broncos hater, but like if you can find a way to go 3-3, I will give them their flowers and be like, okay, the Broncos are probably still going to end up with 10 or 11 wins and be a playoff team. But I think that first 6 games, if they're not at least 3-3, they're not winning that division. I don't think you can win that division if they don't start at least 3-3, because that is a really, really brutal slog. And I know it gets easier, but then they still have some tough division games at the end of the season.
Yeah, the final 3 is hard. So
I think the Broncos are a prime to be back. A good football team that maybe comes back to earth, but might be a team that you don't want to face come playoff time, because there's going to be really talented. But I just think, Bo Nick's injury, he's had the ankle surgery. He's rehabbing this offseason. Start the season with that 6 games. That's tough.
Yeah, that's rough. Week 1 is exciting. I think there's some really good matchups in here. Obviously, we start things off with the Patriots Seahawks, a recap of the Super Bowl. You get 49ers Rams right out of the gate. Bills Texans will be interesting, and Broncos Chiefs, like a few of those to watch on. Packers Vikings, I think will have some intrigue, and Dallas and New York as well with John Harbaugh. Be interesting to see.
Yeah,
that. So a couple big division games right out of the chute, which I found interesting, because a lot of times we know that they backload these division games. So it's kind of cool to see some heavy hitters right out of the gate.
I think it's a great, I think obviously when you look at the schedule, you're just like, this is awesome. This is great. There's nothing on there that I'm like freaking out about. Again, there will be a week 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there. There'll be a 1 or 2 weeks where you and I will get here on a Tuesday and go, well, we don't have to talk much about that, or that was kind of brutal, or that was ugly. But that's just the NFL as a whole. I mean, 32 teams, there's going to be injuries. There's going to be things that happen. There's going to be a team that gets off to a crazy start and fires a coach. Like, there's going to be ugliness. Like, that's what's so great about this sport. To try to predict that is the fun, crazy, hard thing that we do come August. But I will say, listen, the NFL, I love that they make a big deal of the schedule release. I think this year, shout out to the Chargers video again. I thought the Titans video was so funny.
I thought that was really funny. I liked the Raiders doing the Step Brothers with Kirk and Fernando. And I did like the Rams Napoleon Dynamite callback from the opening of that movie. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like the Jets paint thing, but that's just because I'm addicted to those videos. And I also think one that's not getting talked about enough, but also was like, talk about brilliant deep cuts. The Colts used The Simpsons. Did you see the Colts
You know what?
one?
I didn't see that. I
Watch the
no,
Colts
I gotta
one.
go
They
watch it.
use clips from The Simpsons to like
Ah,
layer it all out. I don't know how they got like it approved or whatever, but it is so funny, so clever, and it's just a great reminder of like The Simpsons. They have something for everything. Like The Simpsons have
yeah,
covered it all, and so very very funny, very very good. Bears one I thought was fun. I thought Roma Dunze painting is Bob Ross fun. Um, there was a couple other good ones out there, but those are the ones that definitely I
for
wanted to
sure.
mention. I thought they did a good job.
I'll leave you with this before we close out today.
Yeah.
The NFL owners today approved increasing the maximum number of international games
I freaking hate
from
this.
8 to 10 beginning next year.
There's the
So obviously
worst.
that's the maximum. It doesn't mean that they're going to fulfill that max every year, but you know that they're going to try. And that number doesn't even include the Jaguars London game because the Jags run that game themselves. They help facilitate
It's
it.
not
It wasn't
NFL.
considered a league run
It's so good.
game, supposedly. So yeah, we're talking 11, potentially 11 international games.
I will say, we forgot to mention the news and notes. They did announce Nashville's getting the Super Bowl in 2030.
Yes.
And then Minnesota is getting the draft in 2028. Can I just say, is it finally time for we're going to get a country music star to go back to being the Super Bowl halftime show? I think the NFL.
Who was the last one?
It was I think technically they make the argument that it was. I know Garth Brooks did. I think there was some sort of country mashup in like the late 90s.
But it's really been almost
it's
like
been
30
over 20 years. It's like over. I think it's been 90s or 2000 or early 2000s. But I will just say, like the NFL, they can't screw this one up. Like the NFL, I know the halftime show, they like it for everyone else. But if there was ever going to be like Taylor Swift, and if you can't get Taylor Swift, just appease the rest of the world. And like you have to honor, when they did LA, they had Snoop Dogg, like you try to tie it back to what the city and the who's there.
Yeah.
I get you.
No, Nashville would make a lot of sense. I mean, man, if they could get like Dolly Parton, that would be so cool.
Yeah,
like
right?
have her come back
Well,
out.
I mean, like you
sick.
have country music superstars that are charting in that. Like Ella Langley is like the biggest music star on the planet right now. But like Luke Combs is a ginormous superstar, country music star. Like, and he does stuff. He sells out every NFL stadium wherever he goes. Like, I know Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs, they're the two biggest. I think it's Morgan Wallen's tough because he's got the checkered past, so you bring that name up, and people would
probably
that would be an easy one for the NFL to get dragged on. But there's no reason why you couldn't do a mashup of like Luke Combs, Ella Langley, Lainey Wilson, bring Tim McGraw, you know what I mean? Bring a legend back to Jason Aldean. Like just do.
No, I mean, it would make a lot of sense for the Nashville show.
Yeah, go
but again,
all
that's
country.
4 years. That's 4 more Super Bowls away. I mean, and they would love to get Taylor Swift. I wonder if she would ever do it.
Nashville would be the place, man, in that new arena. That would be it.
The new arena looks really cool.
So there you go. There you go.
Good stuff. All right. Well, that's a fun schedule release show. A little tidbit there. We've got some good shows on the horizon, talking about like some reacting to some top 10 quarterback lists. There's obviously going to be more news. OTAs has begun for teams. So there's
probably
stuff.
no show next week just because my work schedule, and I know you've got some family visiting, so we'll probably take another week off. But let us know. Reach out if there's something you want us to cover. If there's a pundit who says something or something happens, reach out to us, and we'll try to make sure June will have a lot of time to do a lot of fun random content.
Absolutely. Yep. We'll take the week off and we'll be back once again in June. Have a safe Memorial Day weekend. And we'll see you all back here real soon.